Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where in the world you are today. I'm Diane Krakora, CEO of Partner Path, and welcome to Technology Channel Videocast. With me, I have Charlene O'Hanlon. Hi, Charlene.
Hey, Diane, how are you?
I'm very good. It seems like my lighting's a little darker today if I lean back maybe, but
You're fine.
I hope you had a very nice Thanksgiving.
I did, very much so, and I trust you had a good one as well.
Yep, and we're headed into the end of the year,
Believe
in full steam ahead, it seems like. So we thought we'd talk about partner performance metrics. It seems to be that time of year. Not only is Christmas shopping on minds, but also measuring partners' performance and releveling them into new categories as we go into the new program year. So I thought we'd venture forth in that topic.
Yeah, well, I think definitely it's on a lot of vendors' minds now, especially with the changes that are taking place in the channel. And I know we were banging the drum last year, or was it earlier this year, about doing something or doing this exercise more than once a year to make sure that you've got a good handle on the direction your channel partners are taking with their business, and being able to kind of change it up if necessary. And so yeah, obviously lots of stuff happening this time of year. And I think we really need to take a close look at what vendors are measuring among their partners now these days.
Yeah, and as you know, we did a webinar on this with Vincent Perceau of HP. Love that French accent. I could listen to that all day long. So if you guys haven't listened to the replay of the webinar, it's worth it just for Vincent's French accent, as well as he gives some great insights to what HP is doing around measuring partner performance. This really comes from our State of Partnering study, and we talked to and did a survey to the solution providers around what they think or what they want from their vendors in terms of partner measurements. And it's a little bit surprising that the top three things that they expected, or in 1, 2, 3 order, was first is the vendors measure their customer satisfaction. Second was partner experience, and third was the partner's profitability.
Well, those are three that I believe really should be measured by vendors, especially if you take into consideration the fact that these guys are the face of the vendors to customers in most cases. So obviously customer satisfaction, that's one that's been around for a long time, but it's important, and even more so important these days as channel partners don't really, or a growing number, aren't actually kind of calling themselves a particular vendor's partner anymore. They're calling themselves a security solutions provider or a networking solution provider or what have you. But it's no longer, they're no longer associating them or their business around a particular vendor. So that's a super important metric. I think a lot of vendors really need to take into account among their vendor or their channel partners. But channel satisfaction, or the channel experience, partner experience, is, I think, one that I don't think vendors have really given too much thought about in the past.
It is interesting. We're starting to see more people that have titles around partner experience, and we're getting more conversations with vendors around not just partner satisfaction surveys, but really what is the overall partner's experience. So it's satisfaction with you as a vendor is certainly part of the overall equation, but it's really around the 6 elements that the study's out, and we won't go through them all. But so we have partner experience as well as kind of this partner profitability. And we're surprised that partner profitability wasn't kind of higher up in this stack ranking, that we would think that the solution providers would want the vendors to really understand and know, you know, how they're doing in terms of profitability. But that came third out of those three, which we thought was really interesting from the solution provider side.
So, you know, I think it has more to do with the fact that vendors or channel partners these days are looking at their kind of total experience, and of course that includes how much money they're making. But I think they're more concerned these days with you know, having a positive overall experience with the vendor rather than just simply just getting rich.
Yeah, and yes, I would agree. And we also looked at and asked the vendors which of these they're studying regularly. And out of all three of them, it pretty much came back that a third of the vendors were doing at least one. Each one, about a third of the respondents said that they were systematically measuring that, being it customer satisfaction, the partner's experience, or the partner's profitability. But really also interesting was that somewhere between 20 and 25% of the vendors in the study said that they not only not measuring it, they really didn't have an idea, even a feeling or an inkling of what it was. Either, again, each of those three elements, the overall customer satisfaction with the partner's experience, or even the partner profitability. So I just kind of feel that that's a lot of flying blind.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, you being the data girl you are, have you had a chance to maybe correlate, you know, those answers to those companies perhaps that have maybe less than 10% of their revenues go through the channel? I mean, it would be interesting to see if there is a relationship there between those two.
Yeah, we did. We looked at it in terms of the channel maturity curve that we talk about, or the channel maturity model, from being novice to tolerant to reliant to accomplished and then centric. And it is interesting to see that those that have less understanding of the partner's experience, or even the partner, any of these metrics, are on the lower end of partner maturity, right? So they're either novice or tolerant. And it really, when you start to get reliant, i.e. reliant on the partner's revenues, 50% of your business, we start to see a lot of these metrics come in that they're evaluating. So it does correlate to kind of what side of the spectrum of your channel maturity vendors on.
Okay.
And the last thing that was really kind of interesting from the webinar that we did with Vincent is that we kind of, all these metrics that we're talking about are rearview mirror metrics, right? How well did a partner do a customer? How well is your partner experience? They're kind of, they're backwards looking. And what we really started to talk about with Vincent is, how do we get predictive? Right? How do you take all this data, I am a data girl, and start saying, if a partner looks like this as characteristics and does these types of things, marketing events, deal registration, training, right? Things that they can engage with you and as a vendor, what will their revenues or performance actually be? So rather than just always kind of looking in the rearview mirror and saying, how did our partners produce for us? Can we get more predictive and said, we have X number of partners that look like this, that are doing this, so we can almost bank on or guarantee the level of revenues and performance that we're going to get out of our partners. And Vincent's really kind of started down this path in terms of working through a recommendation engine that has, if the partners look like this and have done these things, he has a system that then says, do these other things, right? Your other peers and people that look like you are also doing these activities in terms of training and marketing. So I thought that was really cool on this kind of path to predictability.
Yeah, I think it's great too. And I'll be really interested to see how many more vendors pick that up in the next year or so.
Well, thank you, Charlene, for joining me. As always, it looks like we have a little bit of a feedback issue. Hopefully the recording came out okay. Thank you again for joining me, Charlene.
You're welcome. See you soon.